What's up, fight fans? Greg Rowe Show Boxing. Well, tonight Jake Paul returned to the ring. Ended up fighting a boxer with a 10-1-1 record, 5 knockouts, with the last name of August. Never heard of the guy before. I had been saying in the weeks leading up to this fight that this was not a real test, not a real threat, that this was a carefully crafted, carefully selected, carefully promoted fight to make Jake look like he was taking a risk that he was not really taking. And, this kind of stuff happens in boxing. It's happened in boxing. It's the old bait and switch. It's just one of the oldest tricks in the book, is selling you something that is dangerous that isn't really dangerous. Floyd Mayweather used to do it. He used to tell talk about how dangerous his opponents were, and they were hell of a fighter and all this kind of stuff, only to go out there and whitewash them because they really weren't great fighters, or they were past it or whatever. Like, there's always these stipulations, and that's what's going on with Jake Paul. If you know boxing, that's what's going on. So I'm going to speak to all you idiots and you bozos out there, whether you're normal fight fans, whether you're, critics, you're experts, you're ex-athletes like RG3, who, said tonight that don't step in the ring with Jake Paul. He's constantly getting better and la, 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 la. RG3, you're an idiot. Like, stick to football. You have no idea what you're talking about. Let me break down the knockout for you people who don't know shit about boxing, and tell you why it happened, why Jake was able to do it, and the reason that he had the confidence to do what he did. If you've ever fought, if you've ever sparred, it doesn't matter. If you fought as a professional, if you fought as an amateur, if you simply been in the ring and sparred and used it to get a workout and get in shape, and never really had any intention of fighting. If you had a trainer or anybody, boxing coach or whatever working with you that was worth a shit, they would tell you, or would have told you, that you never, ever, ever throw the uppercut from distance. And the reason you don't throw the uppercut from distance is because it's a long punch. It takes a long time to get there. And in the meantime, anybody worth a shit that's a fighter that you're fighting is going to see that and exploit it. Okay, let me give you an example of that. If you go back and watch Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, the first fight, late in that fight when Muhammad Ali got dropped, it's because he did exactly what Jake Paul did tonight, but he wasn't in there with some fucking bum by the last name of August. He was in there with an all-time great named Joe Frazier, who knew how to fight, knew what to look for, and knew how to exploit it. Now, Ali, back in the day, they were in an exchange, and Ali went to throw the uppercut from distance. Frazier saw him do it, leap forward, and hit him with a quick, short, crisp left hook right on the jaw and dropped him. Okay, because if you know what you're doing and you know how to fight, that's the counter for throwing a right. Someone's throwing a right uppercut from distance. That's what you do. You step forward, you lunge in, you throw a quicker, shorter, more compact punch, a left hook, and hit him right on the jaw, and you'll either knock him down or knock him out. Jake Paul was able to do that and have the confidence to do that tonight because he didn't fear what was coming back at him. And if you're willing to throw an uppercut from distance, it's telling me that you don't respect your opponent, and you don't respect your opponent because you know they are what I just said they were. Now, if you know boxing, you know that. If you're some fucking idiot, you think it's just so impressive that you're able to do that. Jake Paul would never think about doing that or throwing that kind of punch in against a legitimate threat, let alone being able to pull it off, because it's a big no-no. You don't throw an uppercut from the outside from distance. He was able to do it because he didn't respect August. He didn't respect his power. He didn't respect his fight game. He respected nothing. This guy was carefully selected. This fight was carefully promoted to make Jake look like he was taking some risk that he wasn't taking. Is this guy better than Anderson Silva? No. Is this guy better than Tommy Fury? No. Is this guy better than Tyron Woodley? No, he's not. Was he a little bit better than Ben Askren? I mean, maybe, probably the same level. Was he good? Was he as good as what's that basketball player he fought, Nate Robinson? Yeah, he was better than him. But the best fighter that Jake Paul's fought is the only guy to beat him in Tommy Fury. That's the best fighter Jake Paul's fought. This guy he fought tonight is not better than Tommy Fury. He wasn't more dangerous than Tommy Fury. He wasn't better than Tyron Woodley. He wasn't more dangerous than Tyron Woodley. He wasn't better than Anderson Silva, and he wasn't more dangerous than Anderson Silva, who was about 57 years old. That's just the truth. Like, if you know boxing and you know what's going on here, that's the truth. But there's so many stupid people out there that bought this as some legitimate threat and some legitimate, competition for Jake Paul. It wasn't. Like, you don't go out there and knock out a boxer like that, throwing an uppercut from distance if the guy's worth a shit. That's just the truth. But too many people out there are fucking idiots, and they don't know that. They don't understand it. They don't comprehend it because they don't really know boxing. I do. Just go ask anybody worth a shit to break down what I just broke down and ask them. Go ask Robert Garcia. Go ask Freddie Roach. Okay? Go ask any trainer you want to, Calvin Ford. Go ask any of these guys if they ever teach you to throw an uppercut from the outside from distance. And if they would tell or coach or work with their fighter to do that in a fight against another legitimate fighter. They're going to tell you, fuck no. Anybody worth a shit would tell you that. Okay, so that's what happened tonight. That's why Jake Paul was able to do what he was able to do, because this guy that he was in there with was zero threat to him. Zero. If you're a legitimate fighter, you don't have 12 fights in 13 years. That means you're fighting less than once a year. Okay? And the guy's form looked terrible. He looked timid. Like, if you're in there with a guy like Jake Paul, and you're in there because you care about the sport, you care about the craft, and you're trying to stop this fucking YouTube, Disney star bozo from taking food off of real boxers' tables and shit like that, and you're taking it serious and you want to go knock his ass out, you're not fighting like this and throwing a punch once every 15 or 20 seconds. This guy was an absolute bum, an absolute stiff, made to make Jake Paul look good, and made to sell the fight and make it look like Jake was stepping up in competition and taking a real risk against a real threat. He wasn't. The whole thing was a sham. I knew it would be. This is not the best guy Jake Paul has fought, let alone him telling you that he really stepped it up. You want to see a legitimate boxer with a legitimate record? Well, look what I did. This fucking guy was not better than any of the guys that he's fought in his last 3 or 4 fights. That's just a fact. He wasn't. You can disagree all you want, but you're either an idiot, a fanboy, or both. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, you think I'm full of shit in my analyzation and breakdown of the punch, the knockout, and why he was able to do that? And if any real legitimate boxing trainer or coach would tell you to do that or suggest that you do that against a legitimate competition or a legitimate contender, go fucking ask them. See what you get. That's it for me. Leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you thought about the fight, what you thought about the knockout, all that. Share the video if you want. Give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want. If you don't want to, whatever. Until the next one, I'm out of here.